joining right as we kick off here. Hey, thanks for joining us today. Anyway, welcome to our Score Main's webinar on starting your own business. We're joined today by David Green, an expert on the subject. He's also our Northern Maine uh, chapter chair. He's a man of many hats here and great presenter on the subject. We also would like to thank our sponsor today. I believe it is um, hello, excuse me, sorry. Sponsored today by the TD Charitable Foundation. One way or the other, we're happy to have everyone here today on this invaluable topic. David, why don't you take it away?
Okay, thanks, Jasper. So Jasper will be my wingman here, and he'll be checking the chat. So we welcome questions at any time. So just put them in the chat. Jasper will be monitoring the chat, and he'll interrupt me at an appropriate time, or maybe an inappropriate time. Either way, yeah. So thanks. I'm the chapter chair for SCORE in Northern Maine. And I've been a small business owner since 2005. My wife is my business partner. We have a consulting business. Most of our business is out of state, but we've made pretty much all the mistakes that startups can make along the way. So we've been here since 2005 as a small business and have lots of experience to share. Also, as a chapter chair for SCORE, I mentor probably 25 small businesses a year. So every time I talk to a small business, I'll learn something. So I'll be happy to share all that. So in the chat box, the name of your business, nature of your business, are you in business? Are you starting business? Are you thinking about starting a business? Any key questions you have, just pop them in at any time. And the skill testing question is, I guess, where my accent is from. There's no prize for this. There's no right, there's no wrong, but I'm always interested to see if anyone gets it. So we're going to, as we go through, we've got some blue title slides. So that's where we're introducing some new content. And there are also a lot of links in there. So when Jasper sends you the slides, you will find kind of hot links in the slides where you can go and you'll find more information in there. As I said, questions are welcome anytime. So the green title slides are really kind of summary of what we've just talked about in the section. And I apologize, I have a kind of frog in my throat. So if I cut out any time, I'll take a drink of water and I'll be back in as soon as I can.
We do have a guess in from Christina of Scotland.
Hey, Christina, well done.
Right off the bat.
Yeah. Usually it's Scotland or Ireland. And I don't, if you don't hear the accents very often, then it's very easy to mix them up. So I don't get offended if somebody says Ireland. Scotland and Ireland, you can see Ireland from Scotland and vice versa. We're pretty close. So, talking about your goals, most people, when they start out, say, I have a business or I want to start a business, say, oh, this is what I do. I'm opening a coffee shop and I'm going to, have a brick and mortar place and I'm going to sell, high-end coffee, make it comfortable for people, have some home baked goods. But a real good question is, why are you doing it? And most people never answer this question. There's a book by Simon Sinek, The Golden Circle, which says, you should really start off with why. And the way I think about it is, when I started my business with my wife, 19 years ago, we seemed to be working all the time and making very little income at that point. For the first couple of years, we were not getting a lot and we were working very long hours. And we used to say to ourselves, okay, why are we doing this? To ask yourself that question when you are in the place where you seem to be working a lot of hours and you'd not get a lot of income, that why can help you through that tough time. So ask yourself why you're doing it. So if you have a piece of pen and paper, or when you get the slides, think through this. Why is it you're doing what you're going to do to start a small business? How will you accomplish it? And then what is your product and service? So it kind of flips things around, uh, from the way we normally come at starting a small business. So anyway, what is a small business? Well, you need to have a product or service, and it has to be a product or service that someone is willing to pay you for. Whether you're a for-profit business or a non-for-profit business, you need to have something that somebody is willing to fund you for, or you're not going to be in business very long. And you will have employees. That might be yourself or yourself and your brother-in-law, in the early days, or yourself and your teenager who will help out in the weekends, etc. But you would definitely have employees, and you will have some vendors, people who supply you with your raw material or supply you with something, but you will have vendors that you need to pay. So you need the income to pay the vendors. You will have software. It might just be simple as the Microsoft Office suite of business products, or you might need QuickBooks or something to manage your business and software. You will definitely need some software along the way, and capital. It might be not much capital is needed to get going, but you pay for your printer and your computer, and maybe a truck or a car or something. But you will need some capital and equipment, capital to pay for the equipment, and you will need some policies, even if it's just yourself running the business. You will need some policies. How you handle acquiring clients, how you acquire, you're getting paid by clients, etc., and some processes. It will probably start off pretty simple, but particularly when you start to hire employees, you'll need everyone following the processes the same way and everyone following the same policies all the way. So it can start off simple and then kind of add to it. So that's roughly what a business is. And as a business owner, well, what's your role? Well, you need to raise the funds to get the business to break even. If you're starting off by bootstrapping, which we will go into a little bit later, you may not need much in the way of funds, but you do need funds. If you have to go to a bank to get funds, you'll need a business case for that, and you'll need some cash flow analysis for that. And to raise funds, you typically need to put in 20% of your own capital as well. So you need to have something of your own equity to be able to put in. You need to sell your product or service, and in the early days, that is probably you who will be doing that. And you need to build your team. So your team is not just employees, but you may have a score mentor or a mentor. Your banker will be part of your team. Your accountant, when you get there, will be part of your team. Your lawyer will be part of your team. And you have to develop your processes and monitor your financial statements. That's really key, especially in the early days, to keep looking at your finances on a regular basis. I know when I first started, it was almost every time I got a check from a client, or every time I paid a check out to someone, I would monitor my financial statement to know where I was. You could do it weekly, monthly, at the very least, monitor your financial statements. So ask yourself, this is a recap thing, how much money do you have to do to get to break even? What processes do you need to have? What equipment do you need? What vendors? What software will you need? And what policies do you need? So think about that before before you get going. And in resources, do you have the personal experience? If you are starting a coffee shop, have you done anything like that before? Do you know how to do it? And what's your risk tolerance? Because starting a small business, is a risky business. You may be successful or you may not be successful. So I know in SCORE and the other types of people like SBDC, who or CEI, who kind of mentor small businesses, then we like to keep the risks down. So we like to help people think of what are all the risks there before you get into business, and what talents do you have? Do you know how to run a business, or do you need to learn that? Have you got experience in the kind of business that you want to run, and are you passionate about it? If you're not passionate and you don't have a good answer to the why you're doing it, then you might not have the momentum to get you through the early days. And is your family supportive? If your life partner or your spouse or your parents, are they supportive of doing this? So make sure you know the answers to this before you get going. And starting a business that requires some money, it may be your own money, it may be a loan from a bank or a credit union, and time. You will probably find that it takes more time than you think it will take. When my wife and I started our business, we seemed to be working all the time. It seemed to be, 12-hour days, 16-hour days sometimes, because there was just so many things to do and so many things we didn't know how to do, so we had to find out. And that takes a lot of energy, and it takes, good health, and it takes the skills. In whatever kind of business you are doing, you will need to have some skills in doing it, or you'll have to acquire those skills very quickly to be able to start that business. So think about it. How much money do you need? Is your family behind it? Do you have the available time? Many people start off business with saying, well, I'm going to keep my day job. I'm going to have work in the evenings, work in the weekends, etc. And I say, do you have the skills, or do you need to acquire the skills? So focusing on what customers want is absolutely key here. And there was a study done, this was back in 2018, about why the top reasons startups fail. And I read lots of things along the way here, always doing research into small business articles, etc. And it's usually the same kind of reasons that the top reasons that startups fail. They run out of cash, or they can't raise new capital. You may get a bank loan and you go and say, okay, I need another bank loan. And the bank will look at your cash flow and say, well, you're not making money, so we're not going to take the risk. So if you're not successful, you're not profitable, then a bank or a venture capitalist is not going to give you money. And sometimes even there's no market need. So doing your research to make sure that people want what it is that you're offering, doing that up front can cause heartache further down the road. And even with the best analysis, realizing that, okay, I think I'm going to be profitable here, and I think there's a market need for what I do, 50% of businesses fail within 5 years. So please don't be one of those statistics. The more you do your analysis up front, the more you have a solid business plan, and the more you do your research, the more successful you're going to be, guaranteed. So from your customer's perspective, excuse me, I'm going to have a drink of water here. What problem are you solving? Why is it a problem? How will your offering solve it? And why would people buy from you rather than a competitor? For most of us, we do have competitors. Sometimes it's a saturated market. Sometimes in the area you are, there's not many people doing it, but the chances are that there's somebody doing it. And does solving this problem interest you? If If it is, then that's good. If not, then do you really want to start that business? And who will purchase from you? Um, the more you can be clear about this, the better you're going to be. So are you going after a certain age group? Are you going after teenagers? Are you going after young adults? Are you going after people who are, uh, in their later years? Is your market men only? Is it women only? Are you going for a certain income range? People who are well off, people who are not well off, etc. Is it a certain kind of life stage? Students, young parents, etc. You're going after people who have certain occupations or interests or hobbies. Um, you're going after people who are, leaning left, leaning right in politics, or uh, uh, very interested in the environment or have certain kinds of hobbies, etc. Or are you going to be um, going after businesses, small businesses, medium businesses, large businesses? My market is small businesses and medium businesses. I don't do any business for B2C, business to customer. It's all B2B, and it's my business is executive coaching, facilitation, and strategic planning. Is what I go after. So that's small businesses, and there are many people doing that. So I need to be, I need to be the best. So who will buy from you? So a nice kind of graphic here. What's the problem? What's the solution that you're going to have, and who's your target market? So this is the fancy names. What's your value proposition here? And we'll go into that in a bit more detail. So recently, I was down in Lubeck. I was giving a talk in Machias, and I thought, oh, I've never been to Lubeck. I'll go there. And I went into Monica's Chocolates when I was down there. I don't know if anybody has heard of Monica's Chocolates. I kind of knew about it, but I went in, and Monica's Chocolates is high-end, very expensive chocolates. And the owner, Monica, was very friendly, very outgoing. I'd like to tell every customer that was in there kind of the story of her chocolates. So so I thought about that. What's their value proposition there? Well, it was Maine made. It wasn't inexpensive. It was friendly, kind of fun, high quality. So for Monica's chocolates, I would say, yeah, it's friendly, it's quality, it's Maine made, and they're all fresh. So that was Monica's kind of value proposition. So be clear about what it is what is your value proposition? Uh, if you have a product, Maine made is often you can charge a premium price for certain things that are Maine made, like chocolates, like furniture, like crafts. Maine made, you can charge a premium. So what are you going for? Are you going to be inexpensive? Are you going to be full service? Is it fresh? Is it convenient? Is it a kind of fun brand? Whatever it is that think about it. Think about what your value proposition is and how you will be different from other people providing a similar product or a similar service. So your value proposition from your customer's perspective, um, how do you describe your target customer? What are the services you're offering them? What pain point or need does your business address? And how are you better or different from the other options that are available? And how will people feel about your product? And there's a book I would recommend. I'm going to hold it up. It's called The Small Business Life Cycle, and it's by a guy, Charlie Gilkey. So it's available on Amazon. The last time I gave this talk, I said it's only about $6, but I guess he's successful because he now charges almost $10. But it gives you a lot of really good ideas if you're in the idea phase or the early phase of starting a business. I could certainly recommend the Small Business Life Cycle. And one of the things that he says is, what is your product or what is your service in the early days? And be clear about what that is. And it might just be something, one thing. It was a mistake that my wife and I made when we started our business 15, no, 19 years ago. But we had experience from the corporate world doing many things, and we thought, okay, well, we can sell all those many things. And in this part of Maine, things like e-business and business process re-engineering. I've done a lot of international work in that, and we had it all on our website, but we had no buyers for that. So one by one, we kind of took the things off. So we narrowed down our product offering or service offering. So it's really leadership development and executive coaching. In the early days, if we'd known that, we could have saved ourselves a lot of angst if we'd said, that's what our two products are. It's executive development and executive coaching, because that's what we ended up doing and then growing from there. So Charlie Gilkey says, be clear about what's the one thing that you want to be known for? What's the one thing you can think you can sell? And then once you get some buyers for that, you go back to those buyers and say, oh, what else would you like from me? Or you can, go to other clients and say, oh, I have, half a dozen clients who are buying this. How to expand my footprint? So I'm selling the same product to more people. So Small Business Life Cycle, Charlie Gilkey, highly recommended. So value proposition examples, a coffee shop, you're competing with Tim Hortons here, you're competing with, Starbucks. So a local coffee shop would, want to sell high-end coffees, maybe home-baked goods that they've done on the premises, or they buy from, somebody locally who does homemade goods, and they want to make it a friendly place, a community-focused space. That's typical of what a coffee shop would be offering. And, SCORE has quite a few people we've mentored who do that. Amazon, the most customer-centric company, every time you log onto your computer, there's going to be an ad for Amazon coming up. And, I have to say they're really good at that. They make it easy to go to Amazon and buy. So that's their value proposition. Walmart, the lowest price everywhere. Can't argue with that they seem to be the lowest price for most things. Or Whole Foods, healthy, ethically produced foods. I'm in Bangor. We're not a big enough market for that, but when I go to Portland or if I go to Boston, if there's a Whole Foods there, I can buy things there that I like buying, but they're not cheap, etc. So that's some examples of value propositions. So what is your value proposition? Going back, what's the problem? What solution do you have? Who's your target market? So when you have your value proposition, and again, Charlie Gilkey says, start off small, start off with one thing. So you can test it by asking customers open-ended questions. Would you buy this? And maybe friends and family initially. So when you've got some sales, you can go back to your customers and say, how could I make this product or the service better? What else would you like? That's similar to this. And each market may have its own value proposition. Like when I do executive coaching, it's really a different market from when I'm doing leadership development. So or doing facilitation. It's a different market. So you for your business, you may have a number of different kind of markets there, each with their own value proposition, and that may change over time. I know with my executive coaching, with my leadership development, I need to keep in touch with what industry is doing. So I go to SCORE, I go to McKinsey, I go to Harvard Business Review, and keep tabs on what the latest trends are in executive coaching and leadership development. So the market will change over time, and your value proposition will need to change with them, so that you're keeping up with the latest trends in whatever your industry is, and you're keeping offering new products. And new products, hopefully you can stay ahead of your competition there. Okay, so developing a good value proposition, it can be challenging. You need to revisit regularly. And there's some hot links here that when Jasper sends you the slides, it will take you to score.org, and it'll have some examples and tips on how to write a value proposition, identifying what your core value proposition is, and something else on the value proposition. So score.org has all kinds of really good videos, really good templates, etc. So I would advise please go visit and see what's available that will help you get going with your business. And if you sign up to get a SCORE mentor, most of us are not experts in everything, but SCORE has a lot of depth where if I don't know something about digital marketing, I can find a SCORE mentor who will. Or if you need help with buying or selling a business, there'll be a SCORE mentor who will do that. If you need, grants, we have SCORE mentors who are experts in writing grants and getting money for that. So we can help. So your team of professionals, a business mentor is a great thing to have, and the SBA, Small Business Administration, says organizations or small businesses who have a business mentor are twice as likely to be successful as ones who don't. And in Maine, there are many sources of business mentors. SCORE is one. Small Business Development Center is one. The University of Maine system has business mentors. So find one, and they will help you be successful. Your attorney, as you get your business going, it's good to have a business lawyer. The first half hour is always free. So, have a business attorney, your banker, your accountant. The advice I got when I started my business was that your accountant, your banker, and your lawyer are going to be your best friends. And in the early days, they were. An insurance agent can give you good advice as well. Business peers, joining the Chamber of Commerce can put you in touch with other people who are small business owners who have probably solved the problem that you have, and are generally very free with advice. And joining trade organizations as well, whether it's a trade organization that's hospitality has great trade organizations, for instance. And I had a client who had an inn and a restaurant, and they got great advice from people who were doing the same thing. They weren't competitors in the same market, but they might be in a different part of the state doing the same thing, and were very free with their advice. And that client has ended up getting many awards from the local, from the state of Maine, from uh, the local chamber of commerce and the main tourism board have given them many awards, and they were successful because they got lots of good advice from other people in the same industry through the trade organization. What insurance is appropriate? General liability is actually the only one I have with my for my type of business. But depending on the kind of business, you may need some industry specific things. You may need property insurance, and talking with your kind of go to a couple of local insurance agents and say, "Hey, I'm starting this business. Tell me what I need." And it's not all that expensive. My general liability gives me $1 million in insurance, and it costs, I think, $250 a year. I've never had to use it, but it's not particularly expensive. And for some clients I have, like the University of Maine system, says they won't. I can't apply for one of their RFPs or RFQs without having general liability insurance. And the relevant relegations, whatever you're trying to do, local town or city, go and talk to the city clerk, and they will say, "Oh, go and talk to this person down the hallway," etc. So they are super helpful, and most of them have departments that will help small businesses. I know here in Bangor, Anne Krieg is the person to go to, and she has a department of 4 or 5 people who will help with anything you need to know about getting your small business going. Somebody in that department will be able to help you. And the state and federal level for business licenses, labor laws, immigration laws, Social Security, Medicare, etc. If you go to maine.gov, you will click on the appropriate links, and you will usually get that information very, 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 very quickly. So, who do you need to add to your team? Whether it's your lawyer, your banker, attorney, insurance agent, and somebody to help you once you get going. You will be the chief cook and bottle washer in the early days. But who do you need to have on your team? Talk to an insurance agent. What local regulations might apply? What state or federal regulations might apply? So you can find that from your local city hall or maine.gov. And what type of business? SCORE has some really good information on this. But do you want to be a sole proprietor just to get going? And you can probably register that by going to your local city office. Do you want to be an LLC, single member? Do you want to be a multi-member LLC? Do you want to be a general partnership? Do you want to be a C Corp, etc.? And when I first came to Bangor, I was living in Texas at the time, of all things, and that's a long story. But I came to Bangor, to spend a few days to find a banker, find an accountant, find a lawyer. And I went to Rudman and Winshaw and said, "Okay, I want to start a business. What kind of business should I be? Should it be an S Corp? Should it be an LLC? Should it be a partnership?" And he said, "Oh, that's an accounting question." I said, "Oh, I thought it was a lawyer question." No, it's an accounting question. So do you have an accountant? And I said, "Well, no." So he gave me the name of 3 accountants, and I chose one. And so I became an LLC, 2-member LLC, and we get taxed as an S Corp. So that's where the accountant comes in. So we on Maine, in SCORE, we do have some great information that'll help you kind of work through how do I do that? How do I become an LLC? And funnily enough, most of my clients end up being LLCs because it gives you some kind of legal protection if you get yourself in any kind of business trouble. So there we go. So partnership, if you have a partner, you will need an operating agreement. We have templates for that in SCORE. Probably the Small Business Development Center will have them as well. And I've got a couple of stories here. One is a paying client. Well, two paying clients I had, and one was a very successful business. They had 9 partners, and every year, in addition to getting paid for the work they do, the partners would get a distribution check of 300,000 a year each. So very successful. We had a couple of partners saying, "Well, I'm near retirement. The company is worth 10 or 12 million dollars here, so I want to retire. So I'd like my $1 million." And but when they looked at their operating agreement, there was no buyout there. When you leave the company, you don't get a payout from the company. And so it was pretty easy. If you want to retire, well, you retire, but you don't get a payout because their operating agreement said that. So that was pretty simple. I had another client, and they were less successful, but they didn't have an operating agreement. And so, they've been in business for some 8 years, didn't have an operating agreement, and one of the partners wanted out. So they had to develop an operating agreement. So I gave them a template. They kind of worked through it themselves. We had a SCORE retired attorney help them refine it, and then they went to their own attorneys, their personal attorneys, to say, is this fair to me? So it's better to have one up front so you don't get in the place where somebody wants to buy out, or 3 partners want to fire the 4th partner or whatever. So have the operating agreement up first. So it's the kind of answers all the what if questions, and it can prevent you getting into costly, legal disputes. So every partner should have their attorney review it. Very important if you have a partner of any kind to have that, and to say SCORE can help with that. We can give you the templates. We can help you fill it in, and then you can go to your own personal attorneys to say, is this fair to me? Is this legally binding? So other important company details. How are we doing for time? We're doing okay, I think. Yeah. So determine your company name. You can go to main.gov, go under business, under the corporate, and say, you can find out very quickly. Does somebody already have my name for that? And if not, you can register pretty quickly. You can establish your corporation. You can do it online at main.gov. Or you can have an attorney do it for you. Get your numbers. You need an EIN number. That's an employer identification number, and you may need a state sales tax certificate. So you can get that at main.gov, or you can get your lawyer do it. You'll need a business checking account. You need your federal EIN for that. So one thing is really important is separating your business bank account from your personal bank account. So I've heard lots of horror stories about, particularly lobstermen tend not to do that. So at tax time, they have problems separating out, what's my business income from my personal income, what's my business expenses from my personal expenses. So having a separate business checking account is a key thing. And you may need an accountant, or you may be able to do it on your own. I have an accountant. She said she keeps me out of jail. And so it cost me $1,000 a year to have that accountant. But I have income from 3 countries, and I have my business and my personal, and Social Security and pensions and all the rest. So my kind of taxation is kind of tricky. If you have a relatively simple business, you may not need an accountant. And while you're checking company name, it'd be a good thing to check your internet domain name to make sure that whatever name you have as your registered business name is the same as your internet domain name. And I was on yesterday with a client who looked at the internet domain name, and so we went to main.gov, and his business wasn't registered there, so it's fair there. We went to GoDaddy, checked the internet domain name, and his business name wasn't taken, and it was going to cost him $15 to register for the year. So a domain name is a relatively inexpensive thing to do. It'd be good to grab it while you can before someone else does. So that's my advice on that. So business type questions. What business type seems most appropriate? Most people seem to go with LLCs, but if you're to get going, it may be just a partnership, which is less expensive to register, etc. If you have one or more partners, you'll need an agreement, and research that business name. Will your sales taxes? You can find out from main.gov. Do you need a local, regional, or national bank? Most of our regional banks are okay. And do you need any local, state, or federal licenses? Again, you can find that stuff out on main.gov generally. So funding. Think about how much funding you will need to get going. What are your startup costs going to be? It may not be much. You may just need to buy a computer. You may need to buy a printer. You may need a website. So if you're going to have a website, are you going to do it yourself, or are you going to get your teenager to do your website for you, or somebody who does it? Are you going to use a template from GoDaddy or any other kind of low cost entities that will get going? So think about how much funding do you need, and it may be more than you think. But doing a business plan, you can do a one-page business plan sometimes, or you can do a 20-page business plan. If you're going to borrow money from a bank or someone else, you'll need a pretty comprehensive business plan. If you're going to be self-funding, then you don't need you can, a one-pager might be enough, or a two-pager might be enough to get going. But funding, there's a lot of surprises sometimes, and sometimes more than you think. So developing a 2 or 3 year cash flow projection is a good thing to do. You need a business plan for that. SCORE can help with that. Small Business Development Center can help with that. There's lots of people can help with that. So where can you find funding? Common sources, personal savings. That's the way I went with my business, or my wife and I did. We had enough in personal savings. I think after everything was said and done, it cost us $30,000 to get going with lawyers' fees, website development, software, etc. Training. We had to get certified in a number of different things. So we had that money. Bootstrapping is a good way to go, and we'll get into that. That's getting going. Keep your day job, get going by working in the evenings, working in weekends, etc., and keeping the entry costs low for your business. Friends and family can sometimes give you some funding, but that depends on your relationship with your friends and family. I mean, what if your business doesn't work out? How are you going to pay back that $10,000 that your in-laws gave you, or whatever? Grants, competitions. Uh, things like pitch competitions, you may get $5,000 and may get $10,000, but there's a lot of work in doing that, and it's uncertain. There's winners, but there's also losers. And for grants, a lot of people come to me and say, or come to the score and say, what grants are available. There are grants available. We have a list of all the grants that are available. We have some training in how to apply for grants, but it's very uncertain. MTI, Maine Technology Institute, is the biggest provider of grants, but they only provide grants in certain areas. I think there are five types of businesses that they provide grants. There's usually 10 times more people who want those grants than there is grants available. So, and it takes time. So it can be a lot of work to apply for a grant. And you may have to wait 3 months to know if you're going to get the grant. And the chances of getting the grants are sometimes low as well. So it's not free money. There's always strings attached. And it's sometimes a lot of work. Crowdfunding is a way. I'm actually not sure how successful crowdfunding is. I do see things on Facebook where people say, "Oh, well, I'm starting this kind of business," or I need money for this, and some people get it. I think the amount of money that you can get is generally low, and there's probably some strings attached to it as well. And for loans, there are lots of banks that specialize in giving loans to small business, but pretty much they're all looking for 20% of equity from the person asking for the loan. Banks tend to be that way. They're quite conservative. They don't want to lose their money. So if you want to start a brick and mortar business and you need to lease somewhere, and it's going to cost you $50,000 a year, then the bank will be looking for $10,000 of your own equity in that, so that if it doesn't work out, they know they're not going to lose their money. And venture capital is somewhere where the venture capitalists will own some of your business. And venture capitalists are looking for 10 times the equity they're putting in. So they are looking for something that will be scalable and can be quite big. So Maine Angels is the best known one in Maine for that. And I had some friends in Texas when I lived in Texas who had started a small business, and they were funded by venture capitalists. And as the CEO said to me once over lunch, he said, "These are not nice people. They're looking for success. They're looking for 10 times their investment. And if they need to replace the CEO or need to replace the owner, they will do that." So money is available, strings are attached, and say they're sometimes not nice people. So I had a client yesterday I was talking to, and he had watched a video. He'd actually watched this video that I had done a few months ago, and he decided, okay, I'm going to keep my day job. I'm going to bootstrap my business. So what is bootstrapping? it really means funding your business growth using your profits. So you use the profits from the last client to invest for the for the next one. So it's a way of really reducing the risks, particularly the financial risk, and it's kind of easy when your cash needs are smaller. And you can build your experience with your target market. So this, like Charlie Gilkey says, he calls it, what's your beachhead offering here? So you get a couple of clients going, and you say, do someone else who could use this service? Say, oh, how could I grow my service? How could I expand it? You do some advertising in Facebook, or that's not all that expensive to get into. And so this kind of validates your concept. You build a client base. You try things out. Sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't work. So you learn from your failures, and you listen to feedback from your the 2 or 3 or half a dozen clients that you've got, and you learn what's successful, and you use funds from your sales. Okay, I only have Facebook to advertise. I've got some revenue here. Maybe I can invest in a decent website here. Rather than one I've designed myself that isn't all that impressive but works. So I can go to a marketing agency and say, okay, can you do me a professional website here? So you use the money that you've made to invest in whatever you need in your business. So bootstrapping is a kind of low-cost way to go. And I'd say many of my clients who are just starting a business kind of go this way, with a view that, okay, I'm going to do this temporarily. And when my sales are enough, I will give up my day job, or I will work part-time in my day job and invest more time into doing this. So ways to bootstrap your business is moonlighting, use weekends, use the evening to build your business. You can do subcontracting, whatever it is that your business is there somebody doing this who could use a pair of helping hands to get them going. I've been in business for 19 years, and I still do subcontracting. I have a lady I know, and she works with government agencies, and so she sends some work my way. I have some specialist stuff I do. So earlier this year, my wife and I went out to Walla Walla, Washington for a week, working with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers. It was some specialist stuff I do. So I don't have the energy or the contacts to work in with government entities. So this lady, she's based in Colorado. Her business is working with government agencies, and so for certain things that she needs, she will come to my wife and I, to Ginger and I, say, hey, could you go do this? And we have some work in Seattle early next year. So subcontracting, it's a way of getting experience, helping others, and it usually pays quite well. So product placement, my bank is Bar Harbor Bank and Trust. Every now and again, a small business will be advertising in the lobby of my local bank. They're probably advertising in all the lobbies. So it's a way of getting kind of free advertising. Or you can go, if it's a craft thing, you can go to a craft fair. I have a few clients who are in the kind of craft business, and they will take a table in a craft fair, and it's a low investment. It might cost $60 for a table. If you can sell $300 of your work, that's a good way of getting feedback and getting some early sales. Or county fairs, take a booth at the Common Ground Fair, or wherever, or in your local church, etc. So there's many ways of getting the kind of word out, showing your product, showing your service off, etc. In the early days, I gave giveaways at the kind of local chamber of commerce events. So that got a little bit of publicity there. So bootstrapping is a way to keep the risks low, keep your own job. So think about what for your kind of business, what's the most appealing funding options? Is there low risk, low cost way to test the market? Do you need money from a bank? Can you get money from a grant from somewhere? Can you get some money from your bootstrapping to fund your development of your next service? So understanding financial statements, I'm not a financial guru. I'd be the first to admit it. Although I am the finance chair in a significant local nonprofit here in Bangor, but I have a couple of bankers, so I don't need to know about on the committee. So I just need to know how to ask good questions. So you don't need to be an accountant, but you do need to manage your business and reconcile your books monthly. I have QuickBooks, and it's pretty straightforward. I got some QuickBooks training in the early days of my business. I knew an accountant, and I did a swap. I did some personality assessments in exchange for some QuickBooks training. But it is good to learn, understand your balance sheet, your income statement, statement of cash flows. And if when you get the slides, if you click on these links, it will take you to some business training for that. And SCORE has some QuickBooks training. It's one of those kind of regular things. Maybe every 2 months we'll do some QuickBooks training, and there's some videos with QuickBooks presentations. And if you're going for starting your QuickBooks for your small business, I would advise take that training. I'm pretty good with Excel. I would say I'm an expert in Excel, and so for the first couple of months with my business, I tracked all my income, all my expenditure in Excel, and I got into trouble pretty quickly. So I would say that the investment in a software package is money well spent. And there is one, a free one available. I can't recall what it is right now, but I can tell Jasper afterwards. So there's some free software available to manage your business. So really important to have some software to manage your accounts and to know how to use it. And a business plan, excuse me while I have a drink here. The business plan is a really key thing to have for your business. Whether it's a 1-pager or a 2-pager, or whether it's a longer one, but is a kind of living document that documents your vision, your goals. We have a couple of templates that can be a few of the 30 pages long. So this will describe, what we've talked about here. What's the problem you're solving? What's the solution? What's the market you're going after? Who are your competitors? There will generally be competitors. What's your financial forecast? Who else is on your team? Just document it. And what's your business model? And again, when Jasper sends the slides, you can kind of click on examples there, and it'll give you some examples. So your plan will be read by skeptical people saying, well, do you know what you're doing? Are we willing to lend you money here? So it will provide objective data, even if it's imperfect. It's a good start in the right direction. And it's important to have your assumptions about what your costs are, your market share. When you go to your banker here, they will poke holes in this. So having a SCORE or a small business development center mentor who will ask you the kind of tricky questions before you go to a bank will save you any embarrassment. So, as I said before, having a business mentor will cause you to be twice as successful as someone without one. And the business plan is for the bank, for any other investments you have. If you want to bring in a partner, I have a few clients who will say, okay, I've got the business partner here, or business plan here, but I want to bring in a partner. Your first employee or later employees will want to know, so where are you going with this? Before I say, yeah, I know I need a job, but I want to know that this job is going somewhere. It's not going to go away in 2 weeks. And any trade business partners want to know if you have some sales channels, distributors, manufacturers, particularly, a lot of even craft people will say, well, I want to do it, I want to have somebody sell for me. I want to go through, I want to go through, somebody who does this for a living, etc. So they will want to know, so how many are you going to make? What's your target market? How do I know that you're going to provide the volumes that I need? So a business plan is useful for many people. So in putting it all together, here's a nice little graphic. What's the problem? Who has the problem? What's your solution? What's your value proposition? Go to some potential clients or early clients, test that, measure it as people going to buy this, how do I tweak it, etc. So a business plan is a living document. Your value proposition will change as you get feedback from your clients, etc. So your conclusions, starting a business, it's a lot of work, and you will probably find it's more work than you think it will be. It's more hours than you think it will be. It's kind of risky. You may not have any income for a while. I know when Ginger and I started our business, we really underestimated it. So we were in the business of kind of leadership development training. So we thought, well, we need to have about 20 different training courses before we get going. Each course took about maybe a week to develop. So that's 20 man weeks of work with no income from that. So we found we were working all the time on our business plan, getting certified and this, that, and the other thing, and no income coming in. So it's a lot of work. Know who your customers are going to be. I did a lot of research before we got here. I went to our local Chamber of Commerce even before I was in Maine. I went to the Maine.gov website to see who are my competitors, etc. And had a lot of, I knew who my competitors could be, I knew who my allies could be, but start small. As Charlie Gilkey says in Small Business Life Cycle, start small, test, learn, adapt, and SCORE mentors, we're here to help. So what SCORE does is it's free mentoring and workshops. We're all volunteers. Our tagline is for the life of your business. So we have clients who want to start a business, think about starting a business, or have just started a business or have been in business for a while, and even have clients who want to be selling the business. I have two clients who are in their 70s. They want to retire, and so I've been helping them get somebody who to value their business, find business brokers to sell the business, and so far it's been successful. So we do work with nonprofits. We have experts in nonprofits. We're an SBA partner. SCORE has 320 offices throughout the USA. We have Southern Maine, Central Maine, Northern Maine, 10,000 volunteers. And if your SCORE mentor doesn't have the answer, we will find somebody in SCORE who does, either within Maine or somewhere else in Maine. And if we can't find someone in SCORE, we'll find someone elsewhere to be able to help. So I think that is it. So did any questions come up, Jasper? Or let's open it up for questions.
Yeah, we don't have any questions in yet, but we'd be happy to field any if anyone has them. I would say my question for you is if you were to start a business right now, what type of business would you start, David?
Oh, oh, gee, I wasn't expecting that, Jasper.
An
Um,
introspective question.
yeah, yeah. I think I would start something that pays well.
I mean,
I'd put,
don't won't we all, right?
yeah, yeah, um, I, yeah, yeah. I think I would start the kind of business I have because you know, I'm good at mentoring. I'm good at executive coaching. I would focus if I was starting again, I'd focus on executive coaching for myself because I'm an expert in that. There is a need for that, and it pays well. It pays well in Maine, and it pays even better outside Maine.
Mm,
Um,
nice.
if I charge a couple $100 an hour for executive coaching in Maine, I can get at least twice that in Dallas or Arizona. And I have a son who's a senior partner with McKinsey said if you were doing executive coaching in New York City and you charge less than $1,000 an hour, people will think you're no good.
Wow, yeah, crazy spread in that industry for sure.
Oh yeah, 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 definitely. So
Hmm.
so I mean, think big. Think not just in Maine or not just in your local area, but think outside the local area. How can you how can you how can you do that? I have a couple of clients who are selling furniture businesses, and they are selling outside Maine because there's a certain cachet about Maine-made and Maine-designed furniture. So,
Hmm.
in certain kinds of industries, um, being in Maine really means something. It means you get, top dollar in the craft industries, in the furniture industries, in the food industry. If you're based in Maine, you can charge a premium. So go for it.
Hmm. Yeah, Maine means quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, I have quite a few clients in the hospitality industry. And a few years ago, I was doing some work up in the Katahdin area, and I was interviewing the guy who runs the New England Outdoor Center, Matt Polstein. So
Hmm.
Matt gets lots of awards, and he is a top end. It's not called that anymore, but um, he is a kind of top end resort up in northern Maine, where the food is great, the accommodation is great, the outdoor experience is great because he has a whole cadre of registered Maine guides. So I was asking him some questions about tourism in northern Maine, and he said, "Oh, I asked the question that what would it take to have more tourists coming to Northern Maine and having more revenue? He said, "Oh, you have to upgrade the inventory." I said, "Well,
Mm,
sorry, I don't understand the answer. What do you mean upgrade the inventory?" He says, "Well, you have all these people coming from New York City and Boston, and they're BMWs and they're Mercedes, and they have money to spend, and there's nothing to spend it on up here. Um, so you need to provide restaurants, you need to provide accommodation up here that's not a 40-year-old Holiday Inn that's been refurbished 10 times. You need to have something that's kind of top end. And so with all my tourism clients, I say, so for tourism, your clients aren't the local people. Your clients are these people coming with their BMWs and Mercedes with money to spend. So you need to give them something that's worth spending, and you need to charge them the kind of top. You can charge them, a lot more than your local clients would. And so,
mm.
so many of my score clients are doing that. Say, okay, it's a it's tourism, it's a seasonal business. Uh, and so I'm going to give them a really good main experience, and I'm going to charge them top dollar for that, and to get it.
As it's worth, for sure.
Yeah,
We did have a great question come in from Jessica. What
yeah.
tools or methods to use for gathering information about potential competitors?
Oh, okay. I'm going to take a note on that. Uh, Competitors. Um, a couple of things. You could go to main.gov and just kind of look. But the main DECD uh, has a website that I'm going to send you. It's really hard to find if you go to the main DECD. So I can't really even remember what it is. It's what does DECD stand for? Do you know,
That is
Jasper?
a great question. I will have it momentarily.
Yeah, but anyway, the main
Department,
D
oh, yeah, the
uh,
Maine Department of Economic and Community Development.
right. So they have a site on there that's really, really hard to find. But I will find it and send everyone I'll send Jasper the link to it. But what it does is it is a, you'll be able to go to your kind of local community. So I live in Bangor. I could go to the local community and click in that, and it gives you all the kind of demographics uh, for Bangor. Uh, so tell you, the kind of the ages of people, the demographics, kind of work they do, how many kids there are, and with that, the DECD site plus Google. So if you were wanting to start a coffee shop, Google is your best friend there. I say I live in Bangor. If I Google coffee shops in Bangor, Google will find all the coffee shops in Bangor. If you want to find executive coaches in Bangor, you'll find one. Guilty. Um,
Awesome. Well, that's
Etc. So
that'll be a great resource.
the DECD one, I will send you that link because it's really rich, uh, and Google would be the other thing to find out who your
Mm,
competitors are.
absolutely. Yeah. Great resources. The DECD is something that I'll keep in mind with my own score, work as well. So,
Mhm.
yeah. Anyway, anything else before we wrap things up here, everyone?
I'm kind of curious, what kind of businesses are people starting or thinking of starting or have?
Yeah, before everyone goes, if you wouldn't mind either throwing that in the chat or unmuting real quick, it helps us, gather a little information on what our score, client base is, as well as could be very useful information to include with the survey that will be sent out at the end. Yeah,
I don't mind hopping in. Hello, I'm
yeah,
Dylan Sullivan.
welcome.
I'm looking into farming or agriculture,
Mm,
specifically gourmet mushrooms. and then
Ooh,
hoping
nice.
to establish myself so that in case the legalization of psychoactive mushrooms happens, that I can be on the cutting edge of that and provide services across that spectrum.
Nice. Interesting. I don't believe we'll be able to help with that side just yet, but we have a few mentors that are agriculture specific that would probably be more than welcome to help if you haven't put in a mentor request to score yet.
Yeah, I was going to suggest that we have, I think in northern Maine, we have 4, maybe 5
Mhm.
agriculture people. I'm going to, I'm going to, I'm going to share something on the screen. Let's see, Dylan, do screen share. Yeah, so this is from the SCORE website, and we've got farming and agriculture. I'm going to click on that. Can you see that? So we
Takes a
all
second
can.
click sometimes with the new with this new site, unfortunately. That's what happened. I was showing this off in our internal meeting earlier. We're happy this is a new resource that we have for everyone. It's
Yeah,
accessible by all.
yeah, yeah. So Dylan, there's can you see that
Yeah,
first of
I'm
all?
able to see it.
Yeah, okay. So we have some subject matter experts, and there's all kinds of you know planning things that templates you can use here. And I'm going to actually go to 0401 to okay to northern Maine. So I'm going to set northern Maine as my location here. So finding a Maine mentor, it's as easy as you oops.
You're on the right page if you just scroll down.
Yeah. You kind of put in your zip code, and here's all the mentors in in northern Maine. So you either pick one, or if you say, yeah, I just want a mentor, that email goes to Jasper.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
ask
Yep.
questions like, what industry do you want to be in? Who are you? Where are you? What kind of help do you want? And Jasper would find the most appropriate vendor. And I see Kathy has a question. Kathy.
Yeah, my my focus is a little bit different than what Dylan's was. Mine is actually rehabilitation for
Mm.
drug use, drug and
Oh,
alcohol use. There's a need. Um, we know there's a lot of fentanyl coming in, and there's an awful lot of kids that are experiencing death from it. Um, and there's a big need for it. And the farming, I have a lot of background in farming and a lot of background in leadership and in other things too. So I'm looking into opening up a business that has a wide range of things going on in it that are training missions for people.
right. Well, there's a lot of people already doing that, Kathy, as you know, and there's a huge need.
Yeah. Well, this is
Yes.
Christ-centered. There's
Mm.
not a lot of people doing that in the state of Maine. I think the only one that's really Christ-centered is Adult and Teen Challenge right now, and this would be a long-term, like, not really an end. Um, if somebody decided that they were well and then they got so good at what they were doing there that they wanted to become teachers themselves, then they could do that. But
Right.
um, it's a big project that I have in mind anyway.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, good luck with that. Yeah.
Mm.
Thank you.
Yeah. SCORE would be happy to help if you
Yeah, I believe,
if
Kathy, I believe you do have a mentor. So
I do have a mentor.
I remember your name coming through.
oh,
I'm still working on the business plan. I'm already blown away with that. And
Nice.
I've been taking a lot of classes too, so
good.
Nice.
and trying
Glad
to
to
get
hear.
good at what I'm trying to do.
Yeah, good. So who is your mentor, Kathy? Just out of curiosity.
I can't remember his name, but Jasper might know his name.
Lionel.
Lionel, there you go.
Oh yeah, yeah, he's in southern Maine. Yeah, he's
Yeah, I only met with him once, so
He's
he
a
probably
real
forgot who I am. He probably
no,
forgot who
he
I am.
has all his clients on the mind. He's
Yeah.
really high energy and loves what he does. So
I'm
you're in
just
good hands.
I've been so behind it. Like I
Mm.
said, I ended up with COVID, so that kind of knocked me for a
Oh.
loop too.
Ouch, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Well,
there
thanks
a
for
stage-
sharing.
Is there a stage at which you'd suggest getting a mentor? Because I'm just at the like idea phase, and I feel ill prepared to like ask for a mentor. Would you still suggest I look into it, or?
Oh,
Absolutely.
yeah, Dylan, I'd say yes.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, we say we're here for the life of your business. So you're thinking about starting something, and that's an okay time. Because you know, you may meet with a mentor and say, okay, I know what I need to get together for a business plan. It might be 6 months or a year before you know, you say, okay, now I'm serious. I'm ready
Okay.
to pull the trigger. And that's okay. That
Okay.
Yeah, it could
happens.
be a longer term relationship as well, where you don't have to always meet super frequently. You can, discuss some ideas first, and then once you're in a different state, get back in touch,
Okay, awesome.
All
Thank you
right.
for that.
Of course.
Okay.
Well, thank you everyone for attending today. As we said before, this was recorded, so I will be sending out a copy of the slide deck as well as the recording. And as we've, just gone over, SCORE mentoring can be useful for any stage of your business's life, from beginning to end. And we have mentors throughout the state. And we're really happy to have all of you here asking great questions. And I want to thank David again for putting on a great presentation.
Thank
Well,
you.
thank you. And I owe you the DECD link.
I'll be sure to include it once I get it
Oh,
from you.
Jessica has her hand up.
Yeah, Jessica.
Nope,
Oh, that
sorry,
might
was
just
just clapping.
just
Thank
clapping.
you for your
yeah, that's
participation. Appreciate
the clap react. I
Oh.
see. Yeah, yeah.
it.
All right. Well,
Okay.
thanks everyone.
Thanks. Bye, everyone.
Have a great day.